Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Happy Friday and welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show here on WKYC. I'm Jay Crawford. Over the next 30 minutes, it's Browns, it's Cavs, it's Guardians. We're asking this question, and I can't believe we're asking it, quite frankly. Is Shedeur Sanders the most popular Cleveland rookie ever? You'll get your answer. Bull.
I'm Adam the Bull, and the Cleveland Guardians are barely hanging in the playoff race with about 6 weeks to go in the season. Is this series against the Texas Rangers, who are in the mix as well, a must-win? We'll get to that too. Jason.
We have spent so much time talking about quarterbacks in Cleveland. Can we please talk about something else? Luckily, the Browns play a game tomorrow, preseason finale against the Rams at home. What are you looking forward to outside of the quarterbacks? Give me something else that you're looking forward to in seeing it during the game. We're going to talk about it. Mikey.
Plus, my guy Mac put out a all-time Cavs team versus another all-time Cavs team. We're going to discuss which all-time Cavs team would win in a 7-game series, and there is a definitive right answer.
Well, which one has LeBron?
They're both.
They both have LeBron.
They put two different LeBrons
it's a
on
different,
both.
it's a different version.
All right.
Yeah. So,
well, he had two different stints
Yep.
here. I see what's going on. I think I would know which one I'm going to go with.
we'll dive into that, but Jay,
we'll
we
see.
got to start with what you started with. Is Shedeur the most popular rookie in Cleveland history? We've done insane YouTube numbers thanks to Shedeur. We've seen an influx of fans from across the country thanks to Shedeur. I was not here for some of the previous options for the answer to this question. So, is Shedeur number one on that list? And if he's not, who is?
This is easy.
No.
This is easy.
No.
It's easy,
Yeah.
but it's the wrong answer. Yes, he is the most popular rookie.
No.
I'm going to tell you why. It's exactly what Mike said. Now I can only go back 50 years. That's it. So I don't know. What was it like when Jim Brown was a rookie here? I don't know. All I know is, being a member of the media for 40 years, our scoreboard is ratings, interest. I mean, I guess that's all you have to gauge popularity. You also have jersey sales. He is off the charts in jersey sales, not just here in Cleveland, in the NFL, nationally. His jersey is dwarfing the sales of all other jerseys put together. Here in town, we've seen it. Our ratings don't lie. Our numbers don't lie. We've done in the last month, we've done numbers that we've never dreamt of doing in the month of August. So most popular is a tricky question. Would that qualify as the guy who moves the meter most? I mean, Johnny Manziel moved the meter. Baker Mayfield moved the meter. We've had rookies. LeBron James, for crying out loud, is the correct answer.
Yes.
But LeBron James was from here and came with so much hype. And we've been watching him for 2 years as who's going to get him. And we got him. The likelihood of that happening is incredibly small, but we did. So he is the right answer. Like, he's the guy who should be the answer. But unfortunately, I don't know if there was an Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show when LeBron was a rookie, I don't know that people would have been clamoring for any little headline that we put on our page. Because whatever we post that Shedeur does bonkers numbers.
No, the answer is LeBron. That is the correct answer because that is the right answer. And social media didn't exist in 2003.
It didn't, so it's hard to measure it.
Yeah, but I mean, LeBron was a generational talent. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was a junior in high school. Teams had been lining up to try and get him for multiple years. Literally, the Cavs traded half their roster to be in position for the opportunity to perhaps be in position to draft him. The media attention around him, they were putting his high school games on ESPN.
Yeah.
The answer is LeBron. Shedeur, among Browns players, you're right. Like, Jim Brown is a rookie. That was a totally different lifetime ago, and
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm guessing the answer is still Shedeur. Among Browns players, yes. Shedeur is anything unlike we've ever seen. Certainly surpasses Baker, surpasses Manziel, all of that.
Yeah.
But he is not. He is not bigger than what LeBron was when LeBron entered the NBA.
Hold your answer because you're going to break the tie here.
Locally
And I think I know
or
where you're
nationally.
going. I agree with what you're saying. And that's why I say the answer should be LeBron. But we're in a weird space in society where the Kardashians are famous and rich
For being famous and rich.
for doing nothing.
They're famous because they're
like,
famous.
What did you actually contribute
Right.
to society?
Right.
And I'm not comparing Shedeur to the Kardashians, but what I'm saying is LeBron deserved it and delivered. One of the most incredible things to me about LeBron's legacy is he came through with the Todd Marinovich, and no one knows that name in our audience, but he delivered with the Todd Marinovich type hype.
Yeah.
That almost never happens. He was the chosen one, and he delivered the goods.
He exceeded it.
He exceeded the goods.
Yeah.
And so with Shedeur, he hasn't yet deserved this attention, and will he be able to deliver up to the level of hype that he's had?
Yeah.
And to me, the answer on the deliver part is no. Even if he ends up being the starter in Cleveland, he's not going to have a professional career like LeBron James has had. So LeBron deserved it and delivered it, but in this, we'll give you a trophy for doing nothing society like the Kardashians. He wears that crown right now to me. I've never seen a guy move the meter like he does. And I would live through the Tim Tebow era at ESPN. I've never seen this phenomenon.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's done nothing. He's done nothing in the NFL so far. But
That's what I mean. Of course he's done something yet.
I guess I'm looking at it a little differently. I think so much of his popularity is based on people who are not from Cleveland and not Cleveland fans that I'm almost disregarding that popularity. I get what you're saying. Yes, there's more hype surrounding him, and I wasn't here for LeBron, so I don't know. And it's impossible to compare because there was no social media,
Right.
and it was just a different world. But I think, in a crazy way, I would argue that Baker, in his rookie season, created more excitement and was more popular amongst the Browns fan base than Shedeur Sanders is right now. Even though I don't think, even if we had a UCSS, we would have done big numbers with Baker. Not quite this big, but amongst the Browns fans, and there are a lot of them, not just in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think I don't know what percentage think Shedeur is going to be good, but I don't know that it's at best 50%.
Yeah,
Whereas
I know.
I think people were, especially when he made that first appearance and he came into that game.
It was crazy.
The excitement, the hype, the beer fridges, all that.
We thought we finally got our guy.
Everybody was super excited, whether you ended up souring on Baker or not, and most people did, or many people did. At the time, his popularity and the excitement from fans was, to me, more than it is now, because I think a good chunk of this excitement is for people who don't care about the Browns at all.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, maybe that's not. Ultimately, the question is he more popular? So, I guess letter of the law to the question, you're right in Shedeur. I just taking it amongst people that are Browns fans.
Well, I like what you did. You put some merit to it. You said that Baker did something during that rookie season to warrant that zaniness. And again, I think this is unfair to Shedeur Sanders. He's been put on this crazy, ridiculous pedestal that it's going to be very difficult for him to live up to those expectations. I'm not saying he can't, but it's going to be difficult for him to do that. And I think it's unfair. He's played a half of preseason football. That's it.
Yeah.
And there are people that are on so opposite sides. He's polarizing for sure. And LeBron was not.
Well, because everybody's gotten ridiculous now. Because now when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, you only have two options, according to a lot of people.
Yes, he's going to be great or he's going to be awful.
Or he sucks.
And
there's no option when the reality is most likely somewhere in between.
Yeah,
and
that's unfair
nobody
to him.
wants to hear that.
That's unfair to him because it's going to look like he underdelivered when let's let the kid have a career.
Right.
Before we start judging him, and I understand you want his jersey. I get all of that. But this nonsense of digging yourself into a camp where he's going to be legendary and you're blind if you can't see that he's going to be a great quarterback, and that you're blind if you can't understand that the league is out to get him and there was a conspiracy to keep him down. That's an extreme wing of those camps, and it doesn't do any good for Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. By the way, as long as we're talking about rookies, I laugh because one of the funnier moments in this studio was with a guy named Joe Charbonneau, who won the 1980 American League Rookie of the Year, when he somehow leaned back in his chair and just started destroying the set unintentionally, and was great with his stories.
As far as we know, it was unintentional.
Yeah, you're right.
Conspiracy theory.
Joe was, and I'm probably the only one old enough here to remember that and to have lived through it. I was 15. Joe Charbonneau fever was unlike anything I had ever seen up to that point. Mark the Bird Fidrich was probably exceeded it.
Fernando?
Joe, Fernando, but he was West Coast,
Doc
and you know how that
was
goes.
pretty big too.
But I'm talking about up to that point, I hadn't seen any of that.
That's true, yeah.
And Joe was just, and he captured this city's hearts, and as fast as he came into our hearts, he left our hearts, and it's a shame it worked out that way. All right, let's move to the quarterbacks. Jason, you teased this, so we can start here with you. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of attention on Joe Flacco, who's expected to take 25 to 30 snaps. There will be attention on Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel as they play in the second half. Forget the quarterbacks. What are you most looking forward to tomorrow?
The defense. It's something we talked about in the YouTube show. The Browns have built a defensive line unlike we've seen from them. A lot of times in the past with Miles, they've surrounded him with some patchwork veterans sort of toward the end of their career. Not anymore. Mason Graham, 5th overall pick. Michael Hall, a 2nd-round pick last year. Isaiah McGuire and Alex Wright have both flashed on the other side at various points. So I'm curious to see. I don't necessarily expect to see Miles play tomorrow, but I want to see what the rest of this defensive line looks like. I believe it could be the strength of this team. The defense in general is ahead of the offense, and I think the defensive line could be, as a unit, the most important part of this team, really, in terms of generating pressure, taking some pressure off a secondary that now is without Martin Emerson. Can you get home to the quarterback and make the job easier on Greg Newsome and Cam Mitchell and some of those guys in the secondary? So I just want to see the defense. I think they're good enough to keep them in games this year, to keep the Browns competitive. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games, but I think this defensive unit is good enough to at least make the games interesting.
I think what's going to be telling is some of the spots where I'm curious, like who's the third receiver?
Yeah.
And I want to see who starts out. When the Browns were in a 3-receiver set with Joe Flacco for the first time, we know it's going to be Jerry Jeudy, and we know it's going to be Cedric Tillman. Well, who's the third receiver out there? I'm curious about that. I'm curious how much, at least in this game, Harold Fannin is part of the first-team offense.
Yeah, I can't
because
wait to
I know
see him.
Zach Jackson thinks he's going to be a big part of the offense, and I'm fascinated to see it. I'm also interested to see Dylan Sampson.
Yeah.
Like, is the first-team offense mostly just Jerome Ford? Or is Dylan Sampson an equal partner with him? And do they use anybody else? Or is it just, they're going to go out and get somebody else? So there's a couple of young guys on the offensive side that have opportunities at tight end, wide receiver, and running back where the Browns don't have a lot of proven talent for guys to based on how much they play, not necessarily make a name for themselves in this game, but let us know, hey, these guys might be a big part of the offense because they're playing here with Joe Flacco and the first team.
Yeah, I've got a very specific thing I'm looking for. I want 12 drives, all to end at the 35-yard line.
I know where this is going.
I want to see the kickers.
Yeah.
I want to see Andrew Schmidt. Is that how he says it? It
is Schmidt, correct.
Schmidt.
Correct.
I think a lot of people thought, well, this is a foregone conclusion. It's Dustin Hopkins' job. They gave him the 3-year.
I'm not
and the
sure.
guarantee. I'm not sure either, Jason. I haven't been overwhelmed by what I've seen from him this preseason. I think Schmidt has done a good job in what we've seen from him. I want to see 6 kicks from Schmidt and 6 kicks from Hopkins, all from 52 yards. And let's settle this thing in the preseason so we don't have to go 3 weeks into the regular season and lose a game 19-17 on a last-second field goal from a kicker that can't handle the pressure. So that's what I'm looking for.
I said at the time when the Browns signed Dustin Hopkins, I didn't like it, even though he was coming off a good season.
There's no need.
There was no need.
They overpaid.
There's no need. There's like 3 or 4 kickers maybe in the league. I don't even know if there's that many now that you'd pay to. He was not one of them. He'd been inconsistent his whole career before the good year he had.
In fairness, he had a great year.
I know that, but he'd been inconsistent before that. So I wouldn't take a chance.
Yep.
And he wasn't inconsistent. He was bad last year.
Yeah.
I should have been released.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about the Browns is they're not afraid to cut a guy, even if it costs them a little money. So
well, if you remember, Cade York lost the job with another lousy final preseason game.
Yes, he did.
Missed
That's
that
true.
extra
That was
point.
the final straw.
Yeah.
So
and they moved on from
it. Would be, even though it'd be fun for fans to watch us go on all touchdown drives.
Yeah.
I want to see field goals. I want to see a lot of them, and I want to see them long.
Yeah.
So we can
the
figure
Browns
out which guy.
If the Browns are going to win a few more games than we expect, there's no margin for error. They got to make their kicks.
You're absolutely right.
They're not winning by with a million touchdowns. They're going to have to win close, tight games.
You're right.
And if your kicker's missing those key field goals, you're going to lose those close ones.
Yes, let's figure that out tomorrow. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, the Guards continue their Southwest road trip. They're in Texas for 3, a team that's also fighting for a wild card spot. Do they have to take 2 of 3 from the Rangers to keep their hopes alive? That's next. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. On the baseball side of things, this is a big, big weekend for the Guardians. They're not out of it yet, but they could be close. They're at the Rangers for 3 critical games. Right now, they stand 3 games behind that last wild card spot in the American League Bull. Ideally, you're chasing the Rangers. You don't want to lose 2 of 3 because if you do, they catch you.
Yeah.
Is this a series where you have to win 2 out of 3, or you're kicking dirt?
I mean, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs anyway. I'm not going to say they have to, but it's big because, first of all, there's not that many games left.
Running out of time.
And the Guardians have to win. We figured this out to get to 88. I don't know that 88 will be enough, but let's say 88's enough.
Right.
You got to win 2/3 of your games.
Right.
So that means taking 2 out of 3 in just about every series. Their schedule is much tougher. They just went through a stretch where they played mostly bad teams. Texas is around where they are. Tampa is a little worse, but competitive. Seattle's playing poorly for the last 10 days, but they're good. Boston's good. They just beat the Yankees last night. So you still have the Tigers down the stretch. You're playing mostly good teams outside of the White Sox, and I think they have one of the series against a really bad team. So yeah, I mean, you can't afford when you're playing a Texas team that's really not playing well. You can't afford to lose these series. So 100% it's over? No, I wouldn't say that if they lost. But they're in a bad way if they lose this series.
Yeah, I'm almost exactly where you are.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like a lineup to me that can make a deep October run. I don't even think you can get to October. They're not out of it till they're out of it. And mathematically, they're still somewhat lingering around that wild card race. I think the division's more than likely over. I know they've got 6 left with the Tigers, but they've put themselves in a position now where you basically have to play 700 ball the rest of the way. And they're a 500 team. What gives you any sort of evidence that over the last 5-6 weeks they can play 700 baseball? I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't see it either. They're not going to play 700 baseball. I'm hesitant. I'm a fan of the magic number, and it's not over until it's over. We saw last year with Detroit. They were asking that question in July when they traded their when they were sellers at the deadline. And Detroit went crazy hot and snuck in. I don't like this pitching matchup.
No, not at all.
And if you lose this one, and in all likelihood you're going to, now you got to win 2 in a row. And I just don't know how capable this team is of putting a run together. By the way, I haven't checked. What's Shane Bieber's status? Is he going to throw?
Tonight. First start.
Okay, good. I need to put that on my schedule because I really want to watch him throw. If we had Shane Bieber going tonight, imagine how we'd feel.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we've got a chance.
Yeah.
You've got, at bare minimum, you've got to win 1 game. It'd be nice if you could win 2, and a sweep, all of a sudden, you could actually end the weekend in a wild card spot.
That's true.
And it's unlikely, but it could happen.
It's possible. And this is the toughest pitching matchup of the 3.
By far.
You're missing DeGrom in this series, which is good.
Thankfully.
Saturday's game is Jack Leiter for the Rangers and Logan Allen. And Logan Allen's done a solid job. And then Sunday is Gavin Williams, who's mostly been great in the second half, against Merrill Kelly, solid pitcher they got at the trade deadline. But Evaldi's in the Cy Young conversation right now.
He's been great.
And Ciccone's been awful. So
Yeah, the last two he has.
it's going to be hard. I mean, I think Evaldi's given up more than 2 earned runs in a game twice this season.
Wow.
And in those 2 starts, he gave up 3 and 4. So I don't think he's gotten pummeled the entire season.
Turn your attention to Saturday. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, Mikey's put together this mythical NBA Finals series between 2 all-time Cavs teams. I don't know why you showed Mark Price. Mark Price isn't going to be on one of them.
Oh, these are mixed.
Oh, mixed.
It's not, yes.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, this will be fun.
Yeah.
We'll have some fun
Watch
after
and
the
win
break.
on the other side of the break. Welcome back, Mike. I'm just going to throw it to you. I love the way you set this up. Okay, I misunderstood it. I thought you were going to be picking between like the 2015-16 Cavs and another team, like maybe the late 80s or early 90s Cavs team. I like what you did here, though.
This is a mashup. I got to give a shout out to my guy, Mac. He's been on the Ultimate Cavs show with me, Mac Perry, who tweeted this out, and I said, this is a perfect C-block topic for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. He put together a mix of players, and for LeBron, because he's on both teams, different stages of LeBron's career, and made his version of 2 all-time Cavs teams. So, Steve, let's take it full here so we can see the teams. Team A is Mark Price, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron from his second stint with Cleveland, Larry Nance Sr., and Big Z. Team B is Darius Garland, Kyrie Irving, first stint in Cleveland, LeBron, Evan Mobley, and Brad Daugherty. So shout out to Mac for coming up with this. The question to you guys is now, in a 7-game series, you taking Team A or Team B?
Wow, I'm going Team A, but I could easily be talked out of it. I'll give you my reasoning quick. First of all, this version of LeBron was more mature.
Yep.
He was just a better player all the way around, and we know what he was early. He was dominant, but he didn't yet know how to win as a team. Mark Price, I think, is one of the most underrated NBA players of all time. If you go look at Mark Price's shooting lines, he's essentially Steph Curry before Steph Curry. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, you're out of your mind. Go look it up. And with the basketball and just his ability to distribute. Donovan Mitchell, I think, is the second best Cavalier ever. Kyrie Irving being on the bottom team there makes it really difficult for me. And Larry Nance was a good player. Z was a good player, and I like Mobley and Daugherty better than the 2 bigs up top. But I'm going with mature LeBron for the win.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I think Mark Price was a player ahead of his time in terms of 3-point shooting. LeBron, that version of LeBron was a killer. The 2009 version I think they have there was the guy still trying to figure it out. That's where Evan is right now, still trying to figure it out. Darius, still trying to figure it out. Not enough shooting in the front court. I'm taking Team A. Not enough shooting in the front court with Larry and Z, but Z was actually a better shooter than he got credit for. And if he played today, I think he could step out and stretch the floor a little bit more. Give me Team A.
All right, this is easy, and it's stunning to me how you guys got this wrong.
Wow,
it's Cavs
it's going
Team B.
I'm with Bull.
The only thing I'm hesitant about is, and I agree that I like the older LeBron more than the younger LeBron, even though the younger LeBron's a better athlete, but the older LeBron's a better player. I completely disagree with you, Jay, that Donovan Mitchell is the second best Cav of all time. I think it's Kyrie, and I don't think it's that close. I got to win a 7-game series to win a championship in a big spot. I'm taking Kyrie over Donovan Mitchell 10 times out of 10.
He's done it.
100%. Now, Mark Price, great player, and he's better than Darius Garland, obviously. So I'll give you the edge there. But to me, and you guys know I'm not a huge Mobley guy, but Mobley and Daugherty, way better than Z and Nance. I mean, that's not even close in my mind, that combo. So
I think Larry was better than he's getting credit for here.
He was. He was. And
I'm not saying he was bad. I'm just saying he's not as good as...
Or McNuggets, and here's why. To appreciate Mark Price, you had to pay attention to Mark Price every game.
I just said he's better than Garland. I'm not discounting him.
He's not a little better than Garland.
He's a lot better than Garland.
I agree.
Price is not the reason I'm going with Team B.
I know you're going with him because of
the rest of the team is better.
The other reason is when I'm looking at how Team A is going to guard Team B. Big Z in a pick and roll trying to stay in front of Kyrie and Darius Garland. And first stint LeBron, There's no chance. I love Big Z. He's a Rocky
No, I
River
know.
guy.
That's a deficiency.
But Big Z and drop coverage against those three, no chance.
No, that is
man.
a deficiency, and that's fair. And I wish we could play this out. Could you play this out like on a video game?
You know,
Mac
you're saying
did.
Mark
Shout
Price-
out to Mac. He did. Team B won 4-2.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you had that information.
Mark
But Mark
Price-
Price
that-
was the high scorer in 5 of the games. So shout
I
out to
believe
Mark
I
Price.
believe it. Mark
Be a
Price
great-
could
great
fill it
series.
up. And Mark Price in today's game,